I use my hands, but actually it's not necessary.
And since our body, our hands, our third eye, all these are senses that sense the body.
This field energy is on your hands. So, hello everybody. Today I'm with my student, with the Pakman, with my good friend, and we try to explain you how the supernatural powers work. For example, today I will teach Pakman how to work with telekinesis. So the first of all is this part of visualization. It's very important part. But before you start this part, you have to prepare your power inside of your body, your mind power. And for this you have to sleep enough, you have to eat correctly, your nutrition has to be correct, and then some techniques. Today I will show for Pakman telekinesis with these jars. Why? Because that's a glass. You can see there is absolutely nothing. It's completely clear, and Pakman will see it as well. So actually you can see. So I explain you how I do this.
Okay.
Very easy, very slowly. And the Pakman will understand and you will understand as well. So first of all, I have to take this object in my hands and feel the field of this object. When I feel it, I close my eyes and try to see it in my mind, but not like a memory. I have to dream of it. I can turn it, I can zoom in, zoom out. I can just go inside, I can go from this side, I can go even through this chair. I can feel every small pieces of this part. It's very important. That's the part of this telekinesis, because if you are not prepared for this part, you will just try to move, but it will not move, because first of all you take the field of this object, then you create in your mind, and then you put this, I call it twin of the object. Yeah, it's exactly the twin, it's the second brother of him, looks exactly like him, and when I look at this object, I see something other, I see my imagination. For this, I prefer to check if it's really my imagination or not. How you can check? For example, it's clear, it has no color, but when I look, I can make myself to see it in a red color, in a green color, in several colors, so I can see what I want to see. You understand? That's very important, because if you just look at this and you think, okay, I see it, I can image it, and I can just put it on a real object, it's not maybe true. Okay, maybe it is true, but maybe not. How to check? You have to change the color. So if you can look at this object and see it with a different color, for example, now I can see it absolutely yellow. So I create this object, put on it and change the color, but not on the real object, but on this twin object, which I create in my mind. That's, yeah, exactly, that's the
In the mind's eye. Okay.
Pakman, can you do like this? I mean, to look at something, read the field of the object, create it in your mind, and then look at this object again and put this twin on this object and change the color. That's very important exercise. Because when I do telekinesis, I don't move the object. I move the object which I create in my mind. And this object, the second object, will bind the real object and will move it. It is just a technique. So many people think I look at the object and try to move it. No, I see how the object moving, but not the real object, but the twin object which I create in my mind. That's the point. That many people have to understand. And here we have some confused situation because many people don't know how to create this object in your mind, how to visualize, to make a visualization of it. That's very important, that's very difficult. For this you have to have a long exercise, you have to make many exercise, many hours. It's not so easy. Okay, now look, I just show you. I use my hands, but actually it's not necessary. So, but when I look at this object, I don't move the real object. I move only this called P,
The field,
which I
bro.
create. Yeah, that's the part. That's the part. And people, if you like it, you can learn it as well. Pakman helps me to make this course in English. His English is much better than mine. He can explain me everything because I was teaching him a long time. He understood everything. He can explain better than me in English. And he knows all these things, all the details of the technique. Many things he can show you even. For example, I saw how the Pakman make this, for
With the
example, you
windmill?
can call the wind. I saw this calling the wind. It was really amazing. And it was not something, it can happen, cannot happen, because it was exactly on your purpose. You think and the wind is coming. If you have this video, just put it somewhere because the people have to see this. It's very
Yes, I
strong.
will.
Okay, Pakman, for you, for next time, try to make this easy exercise. You look at the object, create in your mind, and try to put on a real object, and then try to change the color. That's a very hard exercise. It's not so easy.
So basically, when we connect to any object or subject, we basically have to go into the meditative state, which is alpha. And once we connect, we're not connecting to the object, but we are connecting to the object's field. And this is the only way to connect it is to when we create it in our mind's eye. And so once we get into more practice of confirming with no doubts that we are connected or we created this image in our mind's eye, then we're able to connect as one with the object.
And the second part is why we use our hands. Okay, actually it can be done without hands, but with the hands it's more easy for our brain because every part on our earth we move with the hands. And when I just put my hands close, I can image it more stronger and more easy than without hands. It's just like a helper, it shouldn't be, but for the beginner it's very good things just to use the hands, because without hands you have to prepare a long time. So I can even do like this, but I have to prepare. For example, now I'm not prepared, and for a small telekinesis like this I can just
We cannot see that.
you cannot see. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So as we grow up as a child, we use our hands as tools. So we are accustomed to using our hands as tool. So as working with energetics and telekinesis, we can use also our hands as a tool.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason because many people they know that they help with the hands, And if you just make a telekinesis and use your hands, it's more easy for you. So just try. But for the first step, I would just suggest you to try to see in your mind what even you don't see in reality. For example, I suggest for the people starting with seeing some point, light point. Many students of mine they have some problem. They cannot see this imagination. They say, okay, if I look at the object, I can remember it in my mind, I can see it in my mind. But if I don't see this object, I cannot see it without seeing before. That's the problem. And for this, it should be trained some memory, this visual memory. That's the first step, because without this visual memory, because how can you see something if you don't know how to remember something in your brain? At first, you look at the object, close your eyes, and try to see exactly this object. That's the first step. The second step, you take some object, close it, and then you try to play with it. You come closer to this, further, you try to turn. The third step, you put it away, and you try to remember this. Even couple days after this, you recall this memory and try to do the same movement like before. And then you recall and recall again. Every day, for example, for 2-3 minutes, you see this object. Because first part, you take something and you look at it. And actually, you have some trace on your eyes, because it's exactly the same trace. And the second step, you keep something in your hand, and it is the trace of the field on your hands. So, step after step, you can just create something from this field energy. This field energy is on your hands. Believe me, you can even read some field energy from people who you touched maybe 20, 30 years ago. The field is still here, the information is still here. The question is how to read it and how to use it. Everything what we've been touching somewhere is still here. So we can recall it, we can read it, we can open it, or we can just throw it away and never use it. It's very important things.
So when it comes down to sensing anything or information, as you were saying about our hands, when we touch anything, we touch a cell phone, a USB card, or anything, it has a subtle information or a vibrational information. And since our body, our hands, our third eye, all these are senses that sense the body, it stores the memory in our subconscious. So how to bring back the subconscious and bring back the exact feelings is how we could connect with the object and such. But this requires practice for our subconscious to accept how to connect to an object.
That's exactly this. And what I really don't understand, many people, because my original language is Russian, and I explain this in Russian. Many people who speak my native language don't understand, but my English is not so good, and Pakman understand me much better than my Russian students. That I don't understand. Maybe it is because you want to understand this, and other people just want to take some techniques and do it. In 2-3 days,
Exactly.
Say, hey, we cannot do. Of course you cannot do, because you have to prepare, you have to have time. It's everything about your preparation, it's everything about how high you are in your mental body. Because you can be strong, but your think body, it's not so strong. You have to prepare this. And believe me, if you prepare this, if you train this, you can do many things, not only like this, not only like some siddha, it calls siddha, for example, telekinesis, pyrokinesis. You can create some mind, you can create some thought, and it can change something in your life. For example, you can change some situation. Something happened, but you can change it. And the best things, because of these spherical waves, you can change in the past. That's the reason. When I say that's not a linear wave, linear means from this point only in front, like a normal graphic, yeah? But with spherical waves, it goes back. So you can think on something and it will change something in the past. Okay, there are some steps which you cannot step. For example, if something is dead or someone is dead, you cannot change this. But before I call this what's the name of this? No, important things which happen, you cannot change this. But for example, if something not so big or not so important, and you think about this, so you can change from the past in your future. That's the reason with these spherical waves. Because of this, we have to exclude completely our speaking in our mind and just try to think with the object. So it's very easy. I just try to explain to the people, try to live one day without thinking in a words, but thinking with the object. Can you try to think with the object the whole day?
There was one question from one of our students in the past. So when we create this reality, like meeting a friend or getting an iPhone or something, you mentioned to start practicing little by little in the beginning, because that's the best way, because it takes energy from you when you release that. So, and to bring back that energy, you have to go meditation, sleep well, eat right. But when it comes down to creating realities, like somebody texts me or somebody meeting a friend, how long should somebody wait to see the results, that if it's working or not?
For the beginning, maybe couple hours, but later,
Okay.
couple minutes. For example,
Okay.
if you are really good in this thing and you create something, actually it can happen very quickly, almost at the same moment, almost. Okay, sometimes, but that's not so easy question, because sometimes the universe needs more time to realize this.
Correct.
Many things can happen at once. Many things need more time. That's the,
Everyone is different depending on their energetic system, how much they have or how much good they are in their practice.
But for the practice, like exercise, from couple minutes till couple hours. I mean, if you, for example, just waiting for a call, of course someone will call you. But
Correct.
With the call, you have to know, you have to think who will call you, not just a friend, but exactly the person, and you try to make him to call you. So with your thought, you create it, you push it out, and you try that he is exactly the receiver of the thought, and he has to call you. And repeat it many times till he will feel it, until he will call you at once. For example, you send him something and he will call. But the question is, for example, when I push my thought and I want someone call me. He said, okay, I was trying to call you 10 minutes ago. Why? Because that's a spherical wave. It goes in the past. And I changed his mind in the past, so he tried 10 minutes before I thought about this, he tried to call me, that's the reason. That's exactly how it works. You can not only think in the future, but in the past, and change something in the past.
As well.
Yeah. That's very, very those things, it's a good thing. Many people don't understand the power of these things, because actually, this what I show here is not very important. More important is here. If you use it, if you can change your reality, if you can change your life, you can change your health, you can change almost everything in your life, then you will understand that is not important. Important is here. So it's your choice.
And so when it comes down to working with telekinesis, pyrokinesis, or levitation, these are siddhis, which siddhis are achievements of one's energetic system. So as we understand and we work on this, the main purpose is living in harmonious with life, with the universe, creating, healing others. But these are achievements that you can achieve and build your mind into it. This shows that how strong your mind can influence the world, can influence the reality, how you can engineer the reality and change the past or the upcoming future or situations.
That's exactly the reason why we do this. By the way, when I saw it the first time, first of all, what I thought, hey, I want to do like this, I want to do the same. But as more I could do this, the more I understood it's not so important. More important is to be the owner of your life. Because with these abilities, you can change really absolutely everything. You can, as Pakman said, influence on your life. Not that someone influence on this, but you can do this. That's important things.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy our communication today, you enjoy our small talk, and if you like it, just make a like in YouTube, subscribe our channel, and watch us maybe in next week. We'll be here again. Pakman, thank you very much for your communication.
Thank you very much, Ernest.
Yeah.